The history of Counter-Strike. In today's video, we'll be covering Counter-Strike's creation by a stressed out final year student, the great Counter-Strike prohibition in 2008, and how the game series has managed to dominate for over 20 years now, with its release all the way back on the 9th of November 2000, probably before some of you were even born. Counter-Strike, also known as Half-Life Counter-Strike or Counter-Strike 1.6, was initially developed and released as a Half-Life mod created by Min Guzman Lei and Jess Cliff in 1999. Lei began work on Counter-Strike as a mod for Half-Life while he was in the middle of his 4th year at Simon Fraser University. He spent about 20 hours a week on making the mod, expending more effort on it than he did on his own schoolwork. Min Lei, the mod's co-creator, had started his last semester at university and wanted to do something in game development to help give him better job prospects. Lei estimated it took him about a month and a half to complete the programming and integrate his models for Beta 1 of Counter-Strike. To assist, Lei had help from Jess Cliff, who managed the game's website and community and had contacts within level map-making communities to help build some of the levels of the game. The theme of countering terrorists was inspired by Lei's own interest in guns in the military, and from games like Rainbow Six and Spec Ops. Lei and Cliff continued to release betas on a frequent basis for feedback. The initial few betas, released starting in June 1999, had limited audiences, but by the 5th one, interest in the project dramatically grew. The interest in the game drew numerous players to the website, which helped Lei and Cliff to make revenue from ads hosted on the site. Around 2000, at the time of Beta 5's release, the two were approached by Valve, offering to buy the Counter-Strike intellectual property and offering jobs to both of them to continue its development. Lei and Cliff both accepted the offer, and by September 2000, Valve released the first non-beta version of the game. Upon its retail release, Counter-Strike received highly favorable reviews. In 2003, Counter-Strike was inducted into GameSpot's list of the greatest games of all time. The New York Times reported that Esports Entertainment (ECEA) League started the first professional fantasy esports league in 2004 with the game Counter-Strike. Some credit the move into professional competitive team play with prizes as a major factor in Counter-Strike's longevity and success. Global retail sales of Counter-Strike surpassed 250,000 units by July 2001. It was the country's 22nd best-selling PC game. The Xbox version sold over 1.5 million copies in total. On January 17, 2008, a Brazilian federal court ordered the prohibition of Counter-Strike and began to be enforced. The federal Brazilian judge Carlos Alberto Simões de Tomás ordered the ban in October 2007 because, as argued by the judge, the games bring imminent stimulus to the subversion of the social order, attempting against the democratic state and the law and against public security. Which is quite the mouthful, but basically means that the judge ruled that the game incites violence and is harmful to consumers' health. As of June 18, 2009, a regional federal court order lifting the prohibition on the sale of Counter-Strike was published. Which to me does sound a little bit extreme, but it was rumored at the time that the ban for Counter-Strike may be due to a mod set in Rio de Janeiro, which allows users to play as a police officer or narcotics trafficker, instead of the usual terrorist and anti-terrorist team. The original Counter-Strike has been played in tournaments since 2007, with the first major being hosted in 2001 at the Cyber Athlete Professional League Winter Championship with a prize pool of $150,000. The championship was won by none other than Ninjas in Pajamas, taking away $50,000. The first official sequel was Counter-Strike Source, released on November 1st, 2004. The game was criticized by the competitive community, who believed the game's skill ceiling was significantly lower than that of CS 1.6. This caused a divide in the competitive community as to which game to play competitively. Eventually, Source did overtake its predecessor. Following the success of the first Counter-Strike, Valve went on to make multiple sequels to the game. Counter-Strike Condition Zero, a game using Counter-Strike's Gold Source engine, was released in 2004. Counter-Strike Source, a remake of the original Counter-Strike, was the first in the series to use Valve's Source engine 8 months after the release of Counter-Strike Condition Zero. The next game in the Counter-Strike series to be developed primarily by Valve was Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Released for Windows, OS X, Linux, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360 in 2012. The game spawned multiple spin-offs for the Asian gaming market. The The first, CounterStrike Neo, was an arcade game developed by Namco and released in Japan in 2003. In 2008, Nexon Corporation released CounterStrike Online, a free-to-play installment in the series monetized via microtransactions. CounterStrike Online was followed by CounterStrike Online 2 in 2013. In 2014, Nexon released CounterStrike Nexon Zombies worldwide via Steam. After Valve bought Counter-Strike from Min and employed him to work with them in Bellevue, Washington, Min continued to work on Counter-Strike and related games. During this time, he was developing Counter-Strike 2. However, Valve eventually put this project on hold indefinitely. After this, Min left Valve in 2006 to work on a project of his own. After 2 years working with a small team on this project, he moved to South Korea in 2008 to work with a business named FIX Korea, who provided funding for further development. Lay's new game was later revealed to be Tactical Intervention, a game similar in style to Counter-Strike, created with a modified version of Valve's Source engine. In October 2013, he joined Facepunch Studios, where he worked on Rust. Maybe that's why that's my most second-played game on Steam. In March 2018, he joined Pearl Abyss to start working on a new project for the game studio that made the MMORPG Black Desert Online. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and stay tuned for future videos. In the next video, we'll be expanding on the Counter-Strike franchise and taking a closer look at CSGO, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and its rise in eSport.